Thank you, Chairman Collins and Ranking Member Wilson, for holding this hearing today, and thank you to our witnesses for taking the time and making the sacrifices necessary to be here to speak to us, and thank you all for your service. As we begin the next ward reauthorization, and with the Ohio River running along my district, we need to ensure that the Army Corps implements policies that utilize the river's resources to create economic activity in the Appalachian region. My district's essentially all Appalachian. The Ohio River continues to be a vital shipping route, transporting over 200 million tons of cargo yearly. Farmers and businesses rely on the locks and dams along the Ohio River to ship their products with minimal delays. With the ongoing maintenance on the Captain Anthony Meldahl locks and dam, commerce and recreation along the Ohio River could be affected. General, what steps does the Army Corps take when undergoing maintenance like this on locks and dams to ensure that navigation can continue?
Representative Taylor, thanks. Having grown up in Pittsburgh at the beginning of the Ohio River, I have a great love and affection for that river system. It is all a slackwater system. It is all confounded by locks and dams, and so the maintenance of those is absolutely critical. Delighted to see the recapitalization of a lot of those facilities, as well as commitments to the long-term maintenance, particularly on the main stem of the Ohio that you spoke to. We work hand in glove with industry and the Inland Waterway Users Board to make sure that we look well in advance on when we're going to take down any main chambers. The good news on the Ohio River is that there is always a backup chamber with its auxiliary chamber. We understand that that's a great inconvenience and delay to industry when you go from 1,200 foot down to a 700-foot chamber. So the key there is to provide the navigation industry a reliable transportation system. It's unscheduled outages that are the bane to their industry, and that's our commitment, is to ideally do away with any unscheduled outages and stay ahead of maintenance.
Thank you, General. I've been proud of this administration's priority to ensure that taxpayer dollars are being used effectively. Unfortunately, there was a project in my district that faced significant delays and rising costs because of the actions of a third party, and was not the fault of the Army Corps. Delays in vital flood prevention and infrastructure can cause potential harm to local communities. General, when the Army Corps faces challenges with contractors and other third parties, what steps do you take to ensure that instances like this are prevented in the future?
Congressman Taylor, so we have a tracking system where we basically give a grade on how that contractor performs. And if the contractor performed unsatisfactorily or if they were unsafe, we don't want to do business with them again. As we see that they are starting to fail in their performance, our commitment is to work hand in glove with them to make them successful. But if they prove themselves not to be a successful contractor, they can't deliver for us, and then we'll do our best not to work with them again.
That makes sense. And when you're choosing a contractor, does their past performance, your ability
Absolutely.
to vet their past performance, is taken into account, even if not necessarily the best price?
Absolutely. Their past performance is one of the main factors we look at.
Okay. In April, the Ohio River reached over 60 feet, the highest in more than 28 years, causing massive flooding in Cincinnati. While this is a rare occurrence, it's imperative that the federal government and its agencies prepare for potential floods to protect its citizens and mitigate damage. General, following flooding, how does the Army Corps work with state and local leaders in their flood risk management plan to prepare for potential tragedies in the future?
Representative Taylor, thank you for that question. Immediately after a storm happens, we have authorities, Public Law 8499, that allow us to responsibly work with local communities to immediately repair that damage where we can. We also have a planning assistance to state continuing authority that'll allow us to assist them to look at that watershed on what just happened and start to look at options to make that community more resilient to flooding in the future. And then that could spin off into future feasibility studies with us.
Okay. Thank you both again for being here today, and I yield back, Chairman.